those monies are applicable the right way and manageable. So personally, I think that you have a way that you can structure it and get them to approve, especially that these apartments are worth the money, but it's not so much how much they're worth, it's what's going to be tomorrow's solution. Today you're saying you're giving up on a house, that you're even underestimating the sale of it. Well, that's a bad choice. Maybe you don't need to do that, and now you're saying you're giving up on something that's worth more money, so tomorrow they may be in trying to sell those apartments. The city doesn't, I mean, if they want to own them, then maybe you can talk about joint ownership, but at least they have control.
Yes, and I understand what you're saying, ma'am. And the question is, you know, I mean, the way you're saying it, it sounds like if we have a lot of equity. We don't have a lot of equity. You're talking about the buildings. The buildings have been encumbered already also. And you're talking about management. One of the interesting things is that we were on the right track when we were working here, and our executive director we were trying to fix everything that had been happening. But our executive director passed away in 2007, and we were on the right track to do that. And we had another interim director that came in, and he wasn't working. So the board of directors authorized me to run the day-to-day, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get everything back to the way it should be so that we can move forward and continue what we've been doing since 1968. It is helping the community. And every project that we have done with the city, we have never failed or finished to complete that project. And that's a record that we have and that we're very proud of. That we have failed in anything that we've done? No, we haven't.
And please don't take me wrong, because I'm not really saying that you shouldn't be able to get a loan or more money. I think maybe you need more than what you think, and then what you need to do is a projection where you're going to cover yourself for 10 years and show how it's going to work. And when you do that, it doesn't matter really who the lender is, but if somebody just moves from a secure position, why is the bank worried if they think this property is worth? They really don't care to be in second, they just charge a little bit more interest.
Right. Well, those are the conditions that the bank puts forth on us. And that's what we have to work with. I mean, if anybody, and we can dispute this all the time, but I mean, if somebody is going to go borrow money and you're going to borrow to whoever you're going to borrow money for, and they put up the conditions for whatever, I mean, you have to abide by those. And the reason why we're doing this is because we need to do this to take care of it immediately. You know, it's not so much as Mr. Lisfuente said as far as that we want to borrow from you to pay our attorneys. No. It's not what you said. So, well, I mean, but we want to pay that debt, because if we don't pay that debt, then we will have some serious problems.
Why would
But I mean, we could go in and continue talking about how we finance, and this I do know, and this I can tell you that the Calexico Community Action Council is setting themselves straight. We're trying to move forward. This would help us get to this point that we need to get to.
You know, you used to have Mr. Roger Benitez, and he was very knowledgeable and helpful to the CCAC,
yes.
And he would work on a payment plan, so I hope your attorney is that good guy.
Yeah, our attorney is Mitch Driscoll. That's working with us.
I understand what the situation is. It's not that I don't.
Sure.
What concerns me is how we got there, how we're getting to this request as to us take a second position is working. Because I'll tell you the history of, and not to cover up the history that the CCAC has had, but when we take second positions on things, we never get paid. And because a lot of other factors happen, and the bank comes in and they take first position, they take the first trustee, and that's all they pay. They forget about who's in second, third, fourth. We've been in situations, we've been down the line on some of these things. So we have to have this kind of dialogue, because we don't know, as Ms. Barrientos mentioned, if the bank saw that it was a good deal, they wouldn't mind being in second position. So I don't know all the particulars of the deal, but I would hope that our staff was given that information so that she can say, well, I've looked at it, apparently this is the best deal that we can get, there's nothing else we can do. Then it's up to us to say, well, we want to do this out of the goodness of our hearts, because financially, if I'm looking at this, it's not a good deal. But, you know, all of the feel-good factors would only be in place if we get a recommendation that says this is the only way they can structure this deal, period. And that, I don't think we have that.
Well, let me comment to that, Mr. Fuentes, is that, the way, the Calexico Community Action Council has been here for 45 years.
Oh, I know.
That's what I'm saying, and I understand what you're saying, because what you're saying to the Calexico Community Action Council, in the sense that I understand your position. What is happening here, we are not somebody that's not from here. We have been here, we have always been here. That we have not filled in a project is something that I would ask for you to consider. We are not some fly-by-night that's going to come in and leave tomorrow.
I know. I'm not saying that.
But I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, what I'm asking you is to please support this project. I'm willing to sit here and debate all night long. And, I'm just asking on behalf of our senior citizens who will be affected if it should happen to them. And like I said before, we would be more than willing to indulge in this fight again. And just to reassure to you and to this council members that the CCAC is on, we're getting our wind back, we're getting on the right track, and we are planning a lot better. We're having a lot of help. Mitch Driscoll is being a part of our team now. And, all I'm asking for you is to help us, support us in this endeavor that we have. And I think that once we get through this loop, the CCAC will be able to have more projects and be able to start funneling money that go to the city, especially on this promissory note.
Well, I wasn't saying that. All I'm saying is that a good business deal, we have, I'm asking if you provided all the information to our staff.
Yes. All the information that I had was, that we had and that we have from the bank and from the mortgage people that are helping us do this.
And have we talked to the bank as far as why they needed to take a second position?
No, what we did is that Mr. Arvado did provide the information that we asked, for example, the audited financials of the CCAC. I was going to go ahead and also request 3 years income tax returns with all the schedules. At that point, we would provide the information to the agency's financial advisor, who would do a thorough review of all the financials, including the loan amounts, everything. Prior to doing that, I felt that it was necessary to come before your board, because historically what has happened in the past, we hired the financial advisor, he paid $1,500 to $2,500 for the review, and the subordination goes through. Why? Because CCAC is an agency that has been here for a long time. They're not going to go anywhere. Usually the subordination has been in the second position. Last time they did pay down the debt by $175,000. This time they offered to pay it down. I don't agree with only receiving 50% of the sales price. I think we should receive the full amount. But that is my opinion. And therefore, this is the reason for bringing it to you today. If your direction is to have our financial advisor do a thorough review, we can do that. There may be other things that come out after that review.
I just like to be able to make a decision with all the information. And I've always made my decisions having information. And even though sometimes it's not the most popular vote, but I don't make decisions on feel good or because I know you or because, we hang out together. It's just, this is business and this is our citizens' money. So if we can get together, and I kind of echo our staff's recommendation that if she could meet with you and get those line things kind of worked out, I think my notion is approving the concept. If we can take a second position, if all the dots are dotted and the T's are crossed, and she has that ability to say, look, this is the only deal we can get.
Yeah, I think that certainly from my experience here for the last 12 years, has been that you guys have become good partners, and there was issues in the past, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about from the last 10, 12 years, which have been good, and you guys have always done what you say you were going to do. So I would forward with a favorable recommendation from us, because in my opinion, they're not going anywhere. They're going to invest in the community. They have shown that they want to keep the rents low, and they want to do these good projects. So I will hopefully provide a favorable recommendation.
Thank you.
I appreciate all of the CCAC has done for the community, and you have my support in concept. I have to say that, because I do agree with Councilmember Fuentes